Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave, and back again with some more video analysis because, well, Bitcoin's actually been moving once again. So I've actually been playing options on this because I really don't like being short, this market right now. But if I do have to play some downside, I'll do it with options. So I'll be showing that in this video. And of course, doing a little bit of analysis as well. I'm going to try to keep this one on the shorter side. I understand that I do say that all the time, so it probably doesn't mean all that much. But I really do want to make a conscious effort. I've been spending all day actually putting together my office setting. So I am actually coming back to these charts fresh, so it's a little bit of a surprise to me to see Bitcoin where it is, but also happy just based off my own positions anyways. So with all of that, without further ado, I do want to wish you the best. I do want to wish you as always, just wishing you well, the best, the happiest, as we say, and I'll initiate that good old teleportation. I'll see you in the live scene, and come on, baby, show me where the money is. There it is. So this is what I typically do when I want to play counter to the overall macro trend. So in this situation, because the macro trend has been to the upside, if I want to play some short side, activity, I'll do it with options here. So I basically have a fucked up strangle and then short every strike. really bad trading, but overall working out, running about a half Bitcoin profit right now, so quite happy with that. And overall, been taking profit along the way, so pretty satisfied with that. And with Bitcoin looking the way that it does on the charts right over here, I really just don't want to play either side. I want to kind of sit back and watch as my phone blows up once again. Holy shit, man! I need to destroy my phone. No more of these god awful sounds in my face. Anyways, I'm so happy to almost be done with my office, but still have so much more. But finally got this goddamn desk done. Holy shit, man. Am I proud of myself with it? Professional at IKEA services. Anyways, what I really want to focus on today is the daily, actually, because the overall picture I do feel quite confident on. It's the lower time frames, which they're flighty and floating, very, very volatile right now. So overall, looking at the daily right here, I do identify this as a symmetrical triangle. Now, these are equal opportunity social justice warrior patterns that typically, or technically speaking, have about equal chance to break out to the upside as they do the downside. These statistics will technically be a little bit more on the side of the former trend, in this case to the upside, and the measure move is the same both ways. So this one's pretty damn simple right here. If we can actually close a daily doodle or even a 12-hour doodle above about 12,500, maybe even a 4-hour doodle as well, being a little bit aggressive in this region, probably not too bad, would ignite a measure move all the way towards 14,500. By the same token, this could just as easily break out to the downside. At that point in time, we actually do see some nice structure, some nice structural matching up with the tentacles here. Structure coming from right on over here. I do apologize from messing around my words. Still a little bit of lack of sleep over here, and also still in the mood of building this fucking desk. Oh my god, I'm so happy about it though. Wow, it's amazing, man. So much more space. And yes, this would be pointed down all the way towards about 9,500. Does match up with the structure right here that we broke out of from June? Yeah, about middle of June. So I would like both of those. They do make sense from a more long-term perspective, and more importantly, I could judge the breakage of this to the downside, not only if we actually break this diagonal trend line right here, which I typically don't like diagonal trend lines, but also the yellow 21 exponential moving average, which is much more important to me, as that's kind of like my governor for overall trend. And you do see that, technically speaking, we are still still creating higher lows, but remember that will be destroyed if we actually even just tick below this last prior low from about July 5th, which would be about 10,761 on GDAX Coinbase. And that's also going to likely be confluent with breaking the yellow 21 exponential moving average on the daily. So whichever one happens first, could you make this decision on a lower time frame? Probably yes, but technically, if you want to be more conservative, then a daily is what you should be, or is what you're technically supposed to be doing. But I do think that it would be appropriate to be a little bit more aggressive, just because the market is very, 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 very unforgiving with its moves right now. Extremely quick and extremely volatile, and well, that's why we like Bitcoin, but it works both ways, right? Anyways, looking at our mommy oscillators right here, we do see daily stocks still to the upside. So as crazy as it sounds, while Bitcoin is within this consolidation period right here, which also looking at historical volatility percentile, we are extremely red right now, and we're still below that moving average. So we are quite literally consolidating. I would say that it is, I do kind of run with that symmetrical triangle coming off of a off of an uptrend, technically a bull pennant if you want to call if you want to call a spade a spade. Now, does that mean that I'm like full on gung ho bullish right here? Not necessarily, but you know, based off the higher time frames, that would be that would have to be my first interpretation. Bearish is what I would, you know, I've been avoiding the term bearish, but I would get bearish if we actually do break this area right here, because that would really start to break structure. And you know, yes, I would expect to bounce down around 9,500-ish region, 9,400 region, whatever it ends up being. But I do think that bounce would end up failing. We'd actually, you know, accelerate lower. So again, you know, this market is at a turning point. And whichever way that you kind of have your bias right now, it doesn't really matter. The way to trade this is the same. I mean, it's quite simple. This is why I like these triangles. Triangles are the one patterns that I actually do have a lot of faith in. You know, most patterns I don't give a fuck about. Most pattern traders, I think, well, they... Yeah, I don't know too many of them. I do know some of them. It certainly can be done, but I definitely don't know too many of them. But I like how it matches up with the tentacles here. And in overall, to me, this is, you know, this would be my first interpretation of this. And you know, if we break out to the downside, looking for a big bad flush to the downside. If we break out to the upside, well, glory times once again to new highs for the year. So that's what I'd be looking at. We are testing the supports right now. Just the support of the diagonal would technically be somewhere right around about 11,300. Although I do think it's more appropriate to use the yellow 21 right here on the daily, which is about 11,200. So if we do close any daily dollars below there, that's going to be an issue. We haven't done that since this kind of like stutter step right here in early June, and more importantly, you know, if we really do start to flood below this area, we are going to start to create, you know, lower lows, which, well, that's the beginning of a downtrend. I mean, we have our first lower high right here. If we create a lower low, well, there's your downtrend, and it's time to, you know, then I'll actually put on some real shorts. Right now, I'll just do things with options. So again, this is why I love options right here. Just a very, very deductive way of trading. I don't really have to worry all that much. And when I'm kind of putting together a massive fucking desk, which I did not realize how big this thing was going to be. Holy shit, man. But, you know, when I'm doing an activity like that, I'd rather do it with options just because it gives me a lot more, you know, play with how to kind of manage this, and taking some profit on this. In fact, you know, I really dislike having, shit like this open. Let me just actually, I want to buy these back right now. How many do I have? Like 2? Do I have 2 left? Yeah, I have 2 left. So I had like 5 or 10 earlier, but been buying some of them back. These 12,500 strike calls, and I'll probably buy these back as well, because why the fuck not? And let's see, these 12,000 strike right here. I mean, that's pretty much just premium right there now, isn't it? So I'll buy them back for 0.025 and do a 5 lot right there. Again, just want to kind of reduce deltas overall. I want to go back to neutral. I'm happy with that P&L, and I'm happy to pull that back in. So yeah, you know, that's a daily right there. I think the daily is the most easy one, and if you want to just kind of cut off the video right now, you certainly you very well could. That is the basis of what we're looking at. Now we'll go down to the lower time frames. Like I said, I won't be spending too much time on the higher time frames during this video. But going back to Bit Mexico right here, you do see that actually this 4 hour technically has not broken the blue box territory just yet. We have an hour and 15 minutes left and 24 seconds. If it actually does close below 11,450, then it will be broken. I would be looking for that next move down. Well, I mean, we already kind of got this move down right into this blue box territory right here. We actually wicked up a little bit higher. But overall, you know, and you know, until this actually breaks, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be front running decisions. In fact, this is actually a little bit lower than what I have designated here. As I do realize, well, how lenient do you want to be? You know what? No, I think it'd be more appropriate to be more aggressive with this one. So you know what? I'll keep it right here and keep it safe in SAFU. So 11,400. Technically, we're above it right now. Any sort of a closure below that, and we got some problems. So let's go down to the 2 hour. 2 hour actually losing its footing as well. So now we have had multiple. We've had open and close. We've had our first open and close below the white turned simple. Or sorry, did we have one right over here? Yes, we did have one right over here. Okay, nasty. Typically, when that happens, we actually do get a free ride to the blue 3/7 exponential moving average. So again, I'll put on these moving averages right here. But what I'm talking about is these guys, which have really been governing price action and giving us great insights to what the bots and algos are doing within this market for the past 6 months. You know, ever since we switched around the overall trend to the upside in what was it? There looks like it just got filled here. Nice, pulling some more in, so my P&L will diminish a little bit more, and that's okay. Anyways, ever since we kind of switched around in February to the upside, the white 200 simple and the blue 377 have been great insights into what the big bots and algos are doing. As each and every time that we break the white 200 simple, we get a flush down to the blue 377 exponential moving average. And when I say break, I mean like multiple opens and closes below, which we're actually kind of looking at right now. And then price action gets reaccumulated along the blue 377 exponential moving average. So that's all the way down here. You know, you see Indian example right here, not the most impressive, but the rest are. We do see this example right here, breaks below the white 200 simple, boom, down to 377, back above the white 200 simple, and massive girthy green dildo party shish kebabbing all sorts of bearish bungholes along the way. Have your fucking salmon up your asshole, my friends. Then that doesn't even make any sense. Then, you know, same thing right out over here, breaks the white 200 simple down to the 377, reaccumulates for a little bit of time, tests it multiple times, spend some time within this region, back up above the white 200 simple, and then for a nice $4,000 move from 53 to almost 9,000. And then same thing right on over here. You know, you get the idea. I've been doing this for a while, or sorry, presented this for a while, so you probably already know. Unless you're new here, well, in that case, I want to say, hey, welcome, good to meet you. Anyways, you know, same thing right here, breaks below the white 200 simple, reaccumulates along the same area, and then back up and on for about a $6,000 move. And then same thing a little bit more recently right here. Breaking for about a few $1,000 move here. Yeah, about $3,000 move here. And then now we've actually broken the white 200 simple once again. So do we get that flush back down to the blue 377 exponential moving average around 10,700? Do you kind of count that, you know, that last wick that we got down to about 10,009 as a test like that? I think that you could make the argument for that. I think it would be appropriate to say something like that because what I'm really focused on right here is actually all of our low time frame mommy oscillators. Keep on calling them mommy oscillators. The momentum oscillators, the good old chicken tennies oscillators, that snapping fingers. Mom, get me my goddamn chicken tennies and clean out my fleshlight, you lazy bitch. I'm not paying you 5 nanos per hour for nothing. Or I'll pay you nothing, bitch. Just kidding. Okay, terrible jokes to be making. My God, if my mom's listening right now, I apologize, but you know, stop being lazy. Anyways, yeah, looking at our 2-hour Stochs, they are actually pointed up right now and confirmed up, even with price action drooping down, and we have hourly coming down right now, but it's the 2-hour and the 3-hour that I'm focusing on, and the 2-hour and 3-hour both are kind of like looking like they want to come up. 2-hour obviously already falling through, 3-hour looks like it wants to as well, and then 4-hour kind of losing momentum at the same time. So usually when I see those line up, especially with the hourly on the same side, so it's not just those. I want to see all 4 of those line up. We typically do, you know, put in lows. I mean, that actually, like the last signature that we had like that was actually right around here, as you can see on your 4-hour Stochs, coming all the way down here. Very, very similar, same area. And, you know, 3-hour, you know, we're the first, we're obviously a little bit before that, right on over here. This is a signature that we're looking at, and you see like the same sort of stutter step within this region, kind of like my stupid stutter as well, which is quite embarrassing. And then 2-hour right here, you know, same sort of signature that we're seeing right on over here. And then hourly, of course, well, the hourly is going to be all over the place, but you get my point. So, you know, I don't want to be long. I don't want to be short. If I had to do something, you know, I would have longed 11,100 alongside the daily 21, which I did do on my main account, and I ended up just scalping that out. Don't really want to hold anything. Ended up putting on a bunch of options positions and now just kind of letting it ride and closing them now. What I'm thinking right now is that if we actually do regain the 2-hour 200, again, this white moving average right here, which is currently at around 11,650, then I probably will go long again. But right now, I mean, at the end of the day, really, I'd be just as happy to play the overall pattern. You know, I still have my longs from much lower, which have no real reason to let go of them. And I'm just realizing that I have no water here, so man, this is definitely going to be a shorter stream because, well, I really am damn thirsty right now. I didn't drink a fucking. I have like some sort of OCD autism with putting together this desk. Like I couldn't stop and do anything else in between that. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Krown? Why are you talking to yourself in the third person as well? It's equally as moronic. Anyways, so yeah, lower time frames are looking to me like they are losing momentum here as we kind of crash down and test some major supports. If you look at the volume signature right here on the lower time frames in confluence with the historical volatility percentile, I would still say that we are actually consolidating, funnily enough, or perhaps not funnily enough for some out there, depending upon your disposition. But if Bitcoin can pop back above 11,800, I'd be very comfortable with calling this a local low, and that we are going to come back up and test 12,000 as a target, and 12,300 would be second target for that. But that would, again, that would imply that we actually get back above 11,800 first. If that happens, then yes, I'd be happy with that. We do see bullish divergence on the hourly right here, higher lows on the oscillator with lower lows on price action. What about the 2-hour? Do we have any bullish divergence here? Little bit, but we don't have a local low confirmed just yet, so it doesn't really count. And that means that the 3-hour is going to be the same thing. Actually, the 3-hour 200 simple also getting price action very, very well as well. Redundancy once again, but you get my point. point, right? This has actually been a pretty damn good, pretty damn good moving average for the past, for this past whole market cycle. Actually, you see it kind of accumulating price action. It does kind of break it a few times here and there, but overall, each and every time that it gets around there, that's where momentum is kind of lost to the downside and things get reaccumulated. So what am I saying essentially? Like, am I suggesting that Bitcoin's definitely going to bounce up from here and 100% has to go up? No, absolutely not at all. I'm just saying that if we do start to really break these areas, especially if we break the 377 exponential moving average on the 2 hour, that's a change behavior, because we don't really see that happening all that much for the past 6 months. We see a couple of closes below, but we don't see any opens and closes below, and that's what I need to see. If we see an open and close below this area, then we have a change of behavior. The Boston algos have kind of left the buy side. They've forsaken the bulls, and it's time to be, well, perhaps a little bit more bearish once again. So yeah, that's all well and good. I do want to get on and cover a little bit more of the medium time frames, put back on these moving averages right here. And there we go. And I think I'm going to actually be able to keep this one a little bit on the shorter side. I'm really happy about it today. We do see 6 hour. Does 6 hours saying anything here? Not so much. 6 hour Stokes, nosediving, but those haven't been too accurate. Same thing with the 8 hour as well. 8 hour actually is printing a decent, yeah, I don't put too much weight on this. It's really the low time frames, actually. The 2 hour and the hourly, funnily enough, are really getting the historical volatility percentile right, and we do see this nice orderly drop off in the historical volatility percentile. So I'd still have to say that we're overall consolidating. This was, if this just kind of stops here, then that's a pretty damn good signal that this is still, actually to be interpreted with a bullish twist. Just very, very nasty drop-offs. I understand that we do see increasing volume to the downside here, but it needs to be taken into consideration of the whole. And so that is, I trust historical volatility percentile more than what we see on the volume signature here. I should bring up let me actually bring up the what's it called? The expected moves chart. 1 second. Let's get this guy running over there and zoom in. Come on, baby. Show it to me. Show these expected moves. Yeah, and you do see them getting extremely well. So again, whenever we play between the first standard deviation, that to me is a clear and obvious signal that we're consolidating, just by the measurement of it. I mean, you only get to the second standard deviation or the third standard deviation during very, 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 very nasty price action, which happens, putting on highs right here, putting on, lows to the downside right on over here. Well, you can't see it too well, but you get my point, right? Those are outliers. But when we're just playing within the first standard deviation, the 68%, most likely area with regards to historical volatility, it suggests that we're likely consolidating. So I would still kind of hold back here from making any sort of brash claims that Bitcoin's gonna dump down to like 9,500 or 8,500. I know the area where I start to incorporate that belief, but for right now, not so much. It's more of a, hey, if this happens, then I'd be looking for it. But until that happens, I mean, realistically, one of the better positions right now is just cash, really. So I don't, if you're kind of on the sidelines and just watching, I think that's completely valid. Like I said, the two areas of action are so well defined for me, and if one of these things happens, I will take positions. I will actually take a short if we actually do break this area. I'll end up doing it with options as well. Yeah, I'll probably just end up doing it with options just in case. Again, I'm pretty happy with the results for the past 6 months, just straight to the upside. Just like I was happy with the results from the bear market. Right now is kind of the time to sit back, enjoy your profits, and play a few positions here and there. But I really want to see the market resolve itself. It's the higher timeframes that are going to dictate the trend here, and the daily, obviously, this formation right here going to be of great importance. I think also it is worth mentioning. I said I wouldn't talk about any of the higher timeframes, but it is worth mentioning that the weekly Trollinger bands are going to come into play here as well. You do see another rejection from the top Trollinger band, but remember, it's still a while until the end of the week at Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If we do crawl our way back up towards 12,500 and actually close above the top Trollinger band, then I'd say that's obviously going to also be breaking the formation that we saw, but then we have tentacles lining up with it as well. So that's really what I'm looking for. So I like how tentacles line up on both sides. Trollinger bands, going to be closing outside the top during very strong trends, as we saw right here, as we saw in 2017 as well, and to the downside as well. But my point is that a little bit of patience here can go a long way. I'm very happy to just watch and wait and just do things with options and kind of let the chips fall where they may. Not going to get the best best entry of all time. Not gonna get a perfect entry, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. What I'm looking for is to protect the profits from the uptrend. That's what I'm looking for right now. And again, I think a lot of people fall into this trap of always needing to be in position. I mean, you don't always need to be in position, man. In fact, again, I like to say this a lot. It's almost more important to know when to not be in position. In fact, I'd say it's maybe even more important to know. Let's go check out CME futures for a second. How these guys doing? 11,530, so it's still trading a little bit of a premium, about $200. And where's the 21 there? About $100 lower than spot. So that's very strange. We see CME futures trading at a $200 premium, but the moving average is actually $100 lower. That's strange. That's very, very strange. So CME futures do have a little bit more leeway here. We do see, however, that daily Stokes are going to be crossing down. So if we do actually see this confirmed, which I believe confirmed in about 4 minutes, in about 4 minutes at 7 p.m. Eastern time, then that would be a little bit more nasty. Probably do get another test down here. But again, it's the weekly that I'll be going off of, and the weekly here going to be closing tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Remember that the weekly is actually pretty damn close to the same area, so I'd still be waiting for the weekly to kind of set itself in stone before making any sort of major positions. And the DeLorean trade is here once again. Holy fuck, man! But these messages don't stop. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's insane. I don't think I think I'll have to close down my inbox just for my own mental sanity. It's in no way intended to be offensive towards anyone. It's just I think that I need to take care of my own life a little bit. It's like I need to answer some messages from like Elsa and shit. Jesus Christ, man, it's never ending. Anyways, taking these guys off, and let's go check out GBTC close for the day, 1489. So big, massive, girthy, technically green dildo down, but it's closed down on the day, of course. I do think that it's kind of setting up for a test down here. Actually, let's go down to a 4 hour, see how he's doing. Yeah, weak, I would say, very weak. We do see 4 hour Stokes actually having a fresh cross to the downside. Don't like that. What about 2 hour? 2 hour looks quite weak as well. Again, doesn't really lead price action, but we do see it. We do see kind of everything moving in unison. Let's go check out gold for a second, just because gold and Bitcoin have been moving so synonymously together, and we see a sell off in gold as well. Does gold come back down and test around 1397, 1395? I think actually quite likely. Overall, I am bullish on gold, but we even have the same formation here, a nice little symmetrical triangle, rising bottoms being governed by the 21 exponential moving average. Actually, technically, 1393, 1394, perhaps the target for this one, but still in an overall consolidation. And until we actually break this one way or the other, I don't really have a strong opinion on it. If we do break to the downside, would look pretty nasty down to 1345. Break it out to the upside, I'm looking at a move towards like 1470 or 1480, something like that. Let's go check out Link BTC. Link, still holding on to the lows here. As long as we don't take out the wake of yesterday at 23,000, I do think that it probably tries some upside. I'm curious what the lower time frames look like. Lower time frames look droopy. Probably does sweep the lows once again at 23,500, but I'm not so confident that it breaks it right here. I think it very likely sweeps the lows, but I actually think that it probably tries to bounce there first and foremost. What about Cardano? Cardano actually looking like it wants to bounce. Probably some bullish divergence here. Definitely does. I'd say bounce target. First target would be about 603, and we'll reassess from there if it gets there. I can't really trust the alternative coins. The fucking shit coins that well. Of course, the reason why I say that is not because I hate Cardano or anything like that. It's because the Bitcoin dominance chart is bullish as fuck. Well, is it finding a local high in the lower time frames? Kind of. We do see some bearish divergence here, so I do think a pullback, which would be good for the alts, which we do see that some like Cardano, so most alts are probably going to be trying to put in bounces here, but higher time frame still very much bullish, so I do have an issue with that. I do think that it still kind of reaches towards that 69 region, the measure move off both this flag and this, and I believe this was a symmetrical triangle right here as well, or what was it? Sorry, it's an ascending triangle actually. Anyways, what else we got, baby? BNB cone, Mr. CZ's shitcoin, probably does try to bounce here. Bounce target maybe back around 30 and a half bucks, then reassess from there. Zcash, what's Zcash doing? Probably tries to bounce from here as well. $91 and a half where I'd be looking towards, but overall not a huge fan of that chart. Bcash, Bcash really taking it on the chin. Wow. The weekly is atrocious here. The weekly is very bad. If the weekly closes anywhere below 343, 345, I'd be bearish on this one, actually coming down much further towards 290 would be first target, and a potential target after that of 245, 250. Tron. Tron probably does try to bounce here as well, but made resistance at 2.9.5. Looks like it just closed some more. Nice. Okay, good. All right, so close those puts. Oh, nice, and got rid of some of that as well. Oh, beautiful, man, fucking beautiful. Actually, while there are buyers here, let me get rid of the rest of this. Thank you. Oh wait, I didn't mean to go long. Let's sell these back. Well, might as well just keep them long. They're worthless. They're worthless, but I'll just keep them long. I didn't realize I only had 3. Fair enough though. All good. I can give a little bit back. Maybe things, maybe it's a little bit of a lottery ticket, but those things are all premium right now. They're only going to be worth parity at expiration. Tron going to be bouncing off this area to 2.7, 200 simple on the daily. So I do think that we get a little bit of love here. Maybe back up to 2.9 Neo, what's Neo doing? Taking on the chin as well. Bouncing off this horizontal. I don't know when I did this chart, but still working. I do, bounce target potentially $15, and then we'll reassess from there. Again, most of the market's just going to follow whatever Bitcoin's doing. So Bitcoin the leader, the rest mostly followers. EOS hitting our more bearish targets down to low $4, 430. Weekly looking pretty bad here. I think that the weekly does bounce here, maybe up to like $5, 5.25. But I do think that there is more downside to come actually. Weekly Stokes headed just fucking nosediving here. Weekly RSI headed towards bearish control zone, breaking all major moving averages. No support to be found. This one can take a little bit more of a tumble towards maybe $4 even to 380. Over time, not happening tomorrow, but like over the next few weeks, perhaps. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin though. Just easier to watch Bitcoin. Same thing for Mr. Ripple's nipples. I do think probably does try to piece together a bounce here, but major resistance now at like 34.5 to 35 cent. And I do think that we fulfill this target down here at like 30 cents to 20.5 cent over time. Again, not today, not tomorrow, but over time most likely. But again, if Bitcoin turns around, the rest of the market can ride its strength. Looking at Monero Cash here, what do we have? Monero actually holding up relatively well. Strong support at 83. So as long as 83 does not break, could put in some time here. What does a weekly look like? Weekly just kind of bouncing off supports right here. So, as long as we have weeklies close above 82.5, I give it the benefit of the doubt. But again, if Bitcoin wants to take a tumble, this thing very likely will too. Stellar, what's Stellar doing? Really breaking it now. So my rule is that I don't short into the 200 simple on the weekly until we actually like fully get a closure below it, and it looks like that actually might be happening. Now I don't trade this thing to begin with. Now you probably do get a bounce within this region, maybe back up to 9.3. But overall, I think that it probably does make its way further down towards like 8.2. Yeah, not so strong. What about Mrs. Litecoin and Mr. Butyrol? Oh man, I've saved the best for last. Yeah, Mrs. Litecoin just absolutely fucking Shrek down there, down to the weekly 21. So I do think that we bounce here. I do think that we try a little bit more upside, perhaps back up to mid 100, or sorry, not mid 100s, but like 105, maybe 109. At the best, but overall. Fresh stoke cross to the downside. Weekly Stokes really losing the exponential here. I'm not a fan of what I'm seeing. I do think that it tries to bounce here, though, to be fair. 106 first target, maybe 110 if it gets there, and then we'll reassess. What about Mr. Butyrol? 267.2. Yeah, breaking its formation as well. Maybe a bounce back up to 270, 275, but I would be looking for big resistance there. If the rest of the market comes down, you'll likely find this one at 250. But again, if Bitcoin does pull through, you'll see this one rise up as well. It's still above all major moving averages on the weekly, so I wouldn't get too bearish on it. If it does close this next weekly dildo below 265, 266, then yes, I would be very bearish on it, looking for a move towards 230 and probably beyond over time. But right now, it's kind of it's Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, it's kind of in a decision phase. So again, just easier to watch Bitcoin. So speaking of the master of ceremonies here, Mr. Bitcoin himself, like I said, we can look at all of the fun stuff on the lower time frames, which I guess I'll briefly just touch on once again. If we do see an hourly or two, if we just see an hourly tick above 11,800, I do think that we'd initiate a move towards 12,100, and then probably would be the first target, and then 12,400 12,500 would be second target. And that would confirm this as a local low here if we just tick above 11,800. But as of right now, we're about $500 below that pivot. So to me, this actually looks like it has some venom on it. So again, for myself, we can talk about all the fun stuff in the lower time frames. If we do, technically speaking, historically, it's actually a little bit more likely to come back down and sweep the 377 at about 10.7, 10.8. But what I would say is, and how I'll be playing this myself is first and foremost with options, just a lot more of an easy way of doing this. So I've taken off almost half my profit now. Just actually realizing that, it's important to realize your shit, right? As I think a lot of people are finding out after this massive hunt right here, after everyone got really, 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 really bullish, which, long term, I am really bullish on this. But remember, this thing hit our prior high essentially and hit a major measured move based off this area right here. While everyone was getting bullish, we knew that it was likely to pull back. Now, I'm not saying that I was going to tell you that it's going to pull back all the way here. No, I tried long trades a couple times on the way down, and they end up not working out. But now I'm just kind of sitting back and watching. I think it's very, very valid, as a trader, just wait for this formation to break here, which is probably what I'm going to be doing for the next actual position. If we break daily below 11,200, 11,150, if you want to be a little more conservative, then I'd be looking for a measure move down here towards 9.4, 9.5. By the same token, if we actually do switch around and do the good old switcheroo and hook back around and take out 12,500, 12,600 to the upside, we'd be looking at a measure move well into the 14,000, about 14,400, 14,500. So that's going to do it for this early evening update. I hope this video uploads fast. Unfortunately, because I'm running like such a high bit rate on my videos, which makes the resolution look really pretty. It does take quite a bit to upload, unfortunately, on YouTube, as YouTube needs to process it, and they, I guess, limit me probably. So, again, I do want to wish you all on this lovely Thursday. Yeah, hey, have a great Thursday. Have the best Thursday in your life. I'm going to be setting up here a little bit more and watching price action from afar, playing some options, and trying to take a little bit more easy. Hope everyone's doing well, and I'll be back on tomorrow with some more video and live stream analysis. See you there. Perhaps not. If not, well, wishing you well anyways, and take care.